And I think another myth too is that people who work out like love every workout and they have their best workout every time. No. There's a lot of times I'm like, I just don't want to do this. I don't. It's not going to be fun. I'm tired. I want to sit on the couch.
Yeah.
But what I'll do is fast forward to how you feel afterwards.
Yeah.
Are you going to feel in an hour's time accomplished, stronger, closer to where you want to be?
Right.
Or are you going to be annoyed because you didn't do any of that?
What's up, and thanks for locking into the Jyim Life Podcast. Today I got a special guest with me, a co-worker and really good friend.
Hi, my name is Erika. I'm a personal trainer and a yoga instructor for about 6 years now.
6 years. Time goes by too quick.
Too quick.
Today we're going to be talking about strength training for women. Let's vibe out. Yo, E, you finally made it down.
Excited.
Ready to get a good workout in?
So ready.
Listen, because look, we've gotten our workouts in when we strength train. So I had to make sure that I put something nice to.
When you say nice, I kind of want to leave.
Right, I see your face. You're like,
nice.
So tell me, so you originally started off yoga training, correct?
Yeah.
Because when I first met you at my old location, you were a yoga instructor.
Yeah,
right?
I taught yoga at the old gym. Yeah, so I had just gotten my yoga certification, and I did that for a while, and then I transitioned because a lot of my clients were looking to be strong and flexible, and so then I got my personal training certification, and now I kind of do both.
Do both.
Yeah.
And what's cool is through getting your certification for personal training, I'm sure you switched up your fitness routine a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I primarily was doing a lot of yoga and cardio. And as I learned more and I started to connect into what was good for me, I really fell in love with strength training and how it's amazing how picking up heavy things and putting them back down translates into life, and it just makes you feel like such a stronger person. So
Right.
yeah, I would say now I do 3 days a week strength train.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you can feel the difference in your body.
Oh,
of
for
course.
sure. I miss it if I go on vacation and I don't have weights. Like, you notice a difference. It really complements running as well.
Right.
And I still have my love of yoga, and I still do that like twice a week as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So today I put together a kettle circuit for us.
Awesome.
Okay. So I'll grab the kettle. I'm going to show you. We'll wait till I show you the exercises before you decide which kettle you're going to go with.
All
I'm
right.
going to go with 16 kilos.
Okay.
And
Did
first
you say kilos?
Kilos.
Because I'm Australian, to make it easy for me?
I did.
Thank you.
I had to adjust for it. You know, it's so funny because they sell them in pounds and kilos.
Yeah.
And sometimes you pick up the wrong one,
Oh,
reading it as
yeah.
kilos. Oh, this is only 16. Oh, Jesus.
I'm stuck with it now.
Right.
All right, so what are we
So
doing?
kettlebell swings, we're gonna alternate one arm to the other for 10.
Okay.
Each exercise is gonna be 10 reps. So after the swings, then we're gonna go rows. And we're gonna go 10 on the right, and then 10 on the left. And then after that, we're gonna go deadlift, flip it up, and then down into a squat for 10. And then last, we're gonna go kettle passes, where we pass each through a reverse lunge.
Perfect.
All right, and each one's gonna be 10. So those will be the exercises.
Okay.
You could choose which kettle you want to rock out with,
Awesome.
and I'm gonna get to set the timer so we can start with the warm up. I'm looking as you grab that kettlebell. I'm looking back. I'm like, oh.
Are you sure?
But you know what? I'd have to go get bigger.
I
then.
know. That's
you know,
why I
I'd
did
have to
that.
go get a bigger one. All right. So first, we're gonna start with our deadlift series stretch. So we reach down like we're doing a deadlift, and then raise arms up.
Okay.
All right. So how's the week been with training?
It's been busy.
Yeah?
It's been hot.
Oh yeah.
Both studios I work at don't have AC, so you know.
They don't have AC?
No. Double sweating.
Oh, has it impacted people coming in at all, or?
No. People still get it in.
Wow.
You know?
I mean, that's LA though. The dedication is real.
Yeah,
like,
right?
if I'm gonna get my workout in, I'm gonna get it in.
Pretty people need to look pretty, okay?
So in your class, what do you teach over there at the studio?
So I don't really teach classes anymore besides yoga.
Okay.
I do one yoga class, which is yoga for athletes. And
Okay.
if you have a body, you're an athlete. So it's yoga for everyone.
Nice.
But I mainly focus on tight hamstrings, tight shoulders, because a lot of people in that gym lift pretty heavily.
Okay.
So yeah, we just a lot of hip focus, shoulder focus. And aside from that, the rest of my clients are personal training clients, and we do strength training. Majority of them are 2, maybe 3 times a week. But yeah.
Okay. And then so you have, of course, a variety of different clients
Yeah.
as far as their different goals they may have, and you train a lot of women.
I do train a lot of women. I would say maybe 70% of my clients are women.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you get as things that they've heard about strength training? And I'm talking specifically about women who haven't done any strength training in the past. Do they have like a preconceived notion as far as what it'll be like, myths they've heard, anything?
Yeah. The first one is that it's going to be exceptionally hard.
Okay.
And really, really complicated. And that they won't be able to necessarily do it on their own.
Okay.
You know, so one of the biggest things for me is empowering women to know what their bodies can do, and we can do everything that guys can do. Just maybe a little lighter.
Just a little lighter.
Maybe sometimes it's all relative. And then of course the biggest one is that if I lift, I'm going to get bulky, and we've been kind of fighting that for years, haven't we?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's one of the biggest things. And then I always point to like the instructors that I work with that are women, such as yourself, where you squat, you do presses, rows, all these things with dumbbells, barbells, and you haven't bulked up in all this time, like as far as like gotten too bulky.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's, my body responds really quickly to weight training. So I've been able to find a sweet spot where I keep my run, my cardio, and I also keep I would say a medium level of weight for lifts. Like I'm not in a phase of wanting to find what my personal best is, and you know, I've been through that to just see what my body could do.
Right.
Now a lot of it's maintenance, you know?
And I think even if, let's assume that myth is true. Let's assume that women lift and you get bulky, even though it's not. It won't happen overnight. So if you feel yourself, if you feel yourself getting a little too muscular, then you could just either go lighter weights, or you can increase the cardio, or you could just not lift as much. But you're not gonna lift on Monday and then become overly muscular on Tuesday, right? So at worst case scenario, if you truly believe that, which is, it's funny because I've had some clients that are trained women who they believe wholeheartedly that if I give them any heavy weights, that they're gonna get overly muscular. And I'm like, even if that's the case, it's not gonna happen by tomorrow.
No.
Right?
And one thing, starting off as a yoga instructor, has really put the mindset of wellness being a lifestyle at the forefront of my training. So for a lot of my clients, my immediate answer too is this goes hand in hand with your nutrition. You know, like if you are lifting and not adjusting your diet and increasing protein, you're getting more active and all you're doing is lifting, then there's a possibility that you'll bulk up. Yes.
That is such a good point that I think needs to be explored, is that nothing is black and white. So if you're going to, we're assuming that women get muscular when they lift. A large part, if you are getting muscular, it could be because of too high of a caloric
exercise.
intake, right? So if you had a super high caloric intake and you're lifting heavy weights, then that could be it, and you could look to adjusting your food or caloric intake versus cutting back the weights.
And then, you know, like you said, everything's relative, and people will think, oh, I'm just going to dive into strength training, and then they forget about any cardiovascular aspect to it. So if all you're doing all of a sudden is lifting,
Right.
whether it's medium weight or heavy weight, it's going to make that effect on your body, and you're not going to be in that fat burning stage ever when where your heart rate is up because you neglected your cardio.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good point. We'll go to the swings next. We get 10. So this one we'll do alternating as we go back and then switch hands. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then we'll go rows, 10 and 10 each side. So what it makes me think about is all the conversations we have in regards to like programming and different ways to approach different clients, and we go back and exchange ideas and information, and it's always depends.
Yes.
Right? So if your goal is to be muscular as a woman, then there is ways to do so.
Right.
Right? If your goal is to just be lean and strong, then you may want to use weights as a tool that is in combination with your cardio and maybe some HIIT training, and then also watching your caloric intake. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the factor too, is that while we all have the same muscles, we don't all have the same metabolism. And our bodies respond differently to different things.
Right.
So there is a time period too when you start training. Back to what you were saying before, it's not going to happen overnight that you just all of a sudden get bulky, but there's also a period where your body has to adjust.
Right.
And like respond to the stimulus that you're giving it.
Yes.
Like if I were to just drop strength training and just run, my body
would respond a certain way.
Yeah, it needs like to kind of figure out what's going on, and that sometimes takes time.
We'll go deadlift up into a squat. You made me laugh because saying things like it takes time is what a lot of times they don't want to hear.
Oh,
right?
yeah, no. Yeah.
Hey, what do you mean? I have a 3-week plan so I can get lean and tone.
Well, speaking of, there's been that recent wave of people taking Ozempic.
Oh, okay, I've heard about this.
Drop weight. And for women to do that, it's very dangerous.
Okay.
But what they've done is they've lost a lot of weight, but they have no structure to support themselves because they're not training.
Right. So they just lost the weight because it's not like they're doing anything to support the weight loss. It's just dropping a bunch of pounds, which in turn has you dropping some muscle as well as fat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What does the, do you know anybody who's tried it?
Not directly. I've got trainer friends who have clients.
Clients who tried it, okay.
Yeah.
And we'll go past this.
Oh, yeah.
9, 8.
My hands are so sweaty, they're sticking on the kettlebell.
That's the one thing with training with kettlebells.
Sticky.
9, we'll get one more. And good. So I had two of my clients in here, I want to say like a week or two ago, and like, have you heard about this? I'm like, no. No.
No, and
Period.
I don't want to know.
I didn't want to know about it. I didn't want to hear about it. And we were talking about this earlier, where just simply is, even if you take the drug and it's effective and it works, do you plan on taking it for the rest of your life?
Right.
Right? If you don't plan on taking it for the rest of your life, what is it going to look like when you transition away from that?
Yeah.
And then a lot of times when people transition away from like these quick fixes or these supplements that are very effective, like means they work quickly, when they transition back, then they're worse off than they started in the beginning.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because again, it takes your body time to respond to any sort of stimulus, whether it's a drug that you're taking, a new meal plan, a new workout plan.
Right.
It's going to take time to adjust. So then once you've just adjusted, you go switch something else, it's going to get very confused.
Very. Yeah. You know what I really want to get into as for yourself, what is like your routine as far as like food, strength training, like an ideal week when you're just, it goes exactly according to plan?
Well, first I'd love an ideal week.
Right.
You know how
Rest.
it is, rest.
Yeah.
As a trainer, everything is it changes a lot.
Yeah.
But typical plan, Monday through Saturday I train. Sunday I have off. That's my recovery day. I highly encourage at least one recovery day a week.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be Sunday. So Monday I'll train straight through, usually from 6 or 7 to about 1 in the afternoon.
All right,
so
that's when you're training clients.
clients.
For anybody's listening, Erika is lean, strong. I mean, when you see her, just when you see you in everyday life, you can pick things up. You don't need help.
No.
Right? We'll put it that way.
She is able.
Yes. Able, right. Very strong and can lift a lot of weights and not overly muscular. Right.
So
I said to get like a good idea of your plan.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I'll be training clients until then, and then I'll work out.
Okay.
And then the afternoon, I usually have clients. As far as food goes, I'll try and get something in around 11. And then...
First meal, like around 11?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because I'm back to back. Usually my first little break is around 10 or 11.
Okay.
And then at some point, lunch is probably like 2 after I work out.
Okay.
And then dinner, I try and keep it early, like 6 or 7, so that I'm not going to bed on a full stomach.
All right.
So training would be, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. In an ideal world, I get in a lift. Yoga. What time would you ideally get your lift in? When I'm done with clients, about 1.
About 1?
Yeah.
Okay, so best case scenario, you've had your first meal around 11, and you get your lift in like around 1.
Yeah.
And does your meal have anything to do with your lift?
If I'm lifting, then I do have a more protein-heavy meal.
Okay.
And a little bit of carbs. Give me some fuel.
Right, yeah.
If I am doing a run, I would probably do a little more on the carb side of things. Okay. Maybe a little bit of sugar with like fruit.
Okay.
And then on a yoga day, I keep it pretty light, you know. I prefer to work out on a empty or not very full stomach, but that's just me.
Yeah.
So,
No, I share that as well. For me, it's finding that balance for when I'm going to go work out, where it's like sometimes I've gotten halfway through a workout and been like, shit, I don't got enough energy.
Yeah.
And then other times like, ooh, you know what I mean?
I feel that burrito. Yeah, I've made that mistake.
Man, do you need some help? You're like, I'm fine, just leave me alone. I'll go back to the swings.
Okay.
And then I want to get into like one of your workout sessions for yourself, what you do and why. Because I'm sure because our goals change. Sometimes you're focusing on legs, sometimes we're focusing on core. Mm-hmm. Our goals change. So I'd love to know where you're at now as far as your goals and then what your regimen looks like to support that goal.
Okay. Well, to be honest, haven't been lifting as much lately because I'm working through a couple of injury type situations that I feel are recurring. Like I will get to a certain point in fitness and then they come back.
Okay.
So I have recurring issue in my right leg from running of sciatica. Okay. So it's a little imbalanced. My pelvis is a little off.
Okay.
And so I'm just retraining that glute and that hamstring. So a lot of what I'm doing is a little more based on some rehab work and leg dominant, glutes, hams, and then I'm increasing my consistency with running.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're mixing in a lot of your rehab work, therapy work with your cardio.
Yes, so what I would do is I'm down to about 2 days strength training hard, and then I'll do like a third day, which is more full body. Okay. But I'll do my rehab stuff on the strength training days. Okay. And then I'll do more mobility work and cardio on other days.
That's something really good to, we'll go deadlift squat, we'll get 10. 9, 8, 7, we'll get 6 more. 6, 5, 4.
How do we get out of sync? What happened?
I know, right? No, you got it? You 10?
Yeah,
this is
I think
10.
I lost count.
We're there. It happens.
Trainer count.
The other day I had somebody in here and I was like, all right, we got one more. They were like, which one more?
Yours or mine?
I'm like, I'll tell you after you do that one more.
It's a good one more. Give me a good one more, not a shitty one.
Then we're all set. Then we're all set. But I think a lot of times As you see, we focus our information on people who are just getting into training, which is important, right?
Yeah.
So they have some good guidance. But sometimes the people who've been training for years, who go hard,
Yeah.
and they haven't worked with a trainer,
Right.
they haven't worked with a coach, because for the most part, they know what they're doing. And what I think you said is huge for those people to understand. If you have a really strong fitness routine and you find like that little nagging injury, you know what I mean? And you know it goes all over my, I'm not stopping my routine,
Yeah.
all right? Listen, hip.
I know.
I got things I
you
need to do, right?
For my mental health.
Right. Talk to knee. No, it's not the time, okay? But so it'll be unrealistic to tell our personality type to slow down or stop. But what you said is you just incorporate your rehab probably before your strength training, after your strength training, so you're not completely cutting all the way back.
Yeah. And I'm human. I'm like everybody else. When something happens, I get deflated. And I'm like, well, shoot, like now I can't use this arm or this leg like I used to, and I just won't do anything. That's not the answer either.
Yeah, we'll go kettle passes, we'll get 10.
So what I've learned to do is you just kind of have to build a cheat code against yourself, you know?
Okay.
Because you
cheat code.
Yeah. So what is the easiest way that you can make this thing happen?
Okay.
So how do you remove obstacles, and how do you add things that are going to make it easier for you to do it?
Okay.
So
give me a specific pain.
My shoulder and my hip, basically, going on right now. So I have a set of exercises that need to get done every day.
Okay.
And sometimes I'll do them at the gym prior to a workout. But my fail-safe or my catch is that I have my mat laid out in the morning.
Okay.
So that I do them. So the mat is on the way to the kitchen where I get coffee.
Yeah.
And if I somehow stumble over my mat and don't do them, that's happened, then my fail-safe is that I will do them at the gym.
Okay.
So I have two opportunities to do them because I know
do your
myself.
rehab work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know myself. Like rehab work, I get it. It's not sexy.
Right.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
No
it's
one's
boring. It's annoying. It's tedious.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is.
It is, yeah. You're like, oh, I did this baby little glute lift on a roller.
Ooh, yeah.
Which is, by the way, really hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have to like outthink your own tendencies.
Yes.
Yeah.
It makes sense too, and like even with myself, when I have my little nagging injuries, it's like I want to constantly remind myself, you have to do this, right?
Yeah.
And even it's okay with not liking it, like we're not dumb, right?
Yeah.
Like, so we can't trick ourselves to being like, oh, this is such a
It's gonna be
like
fun.
no, it's not, right?
Yeah.
But we can give ourselves the raw truth that is necessary.
Yes.
Right?
And I think another myth too is that people who work out like love every workout and they have their best workout every time. No. There's a lot of times I'm like, I just don't want to do this. I don't. It's not going to be fun. I'm tired. I want to sit on the couch.
Yeah.
But what I'll do is fast forward to how you feel afterwards.
Yeah.
Are you going to feel in an hour's time accomplished, stronger, closer to where you want to be?
Right.
Or are you going to be annoyed because you didn't do any of that?
And we know that happens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we know that happens. It's true. And then we're back to the swings.
Okay.
I'm gonna get 10. I want to start talking about aesthetic goals next with some of your clients.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Give me the top three things that women come in and ask you for aesthetically. Like, we know that our foundation and base is always to get people on a wellness, functional, healthy level. But we know even with all that, they're still like, yeah, but I need this.
Right.
Okay, so what would you say some of the top three are?
Butts.
Butts, okay.
Everyone wants a butt. Michelle Obama arms.
Okay.
And abs, I would say.
And abs.
And it's not always outright that. Sometimes it's like, I want to have nice arms for this sundress for this wedding. But essentially, it's arms.
That's
Yeah.
arms,
Yeah.
okay. And I'm assuming like lean arms?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like that, toned, sculpted arms, like Michelle Obama.
So for somebody who is trying to, I guess, tone and sculpt their butts, what would you say is the best approach in terms of exercise? And I know there's a million different ones, But and I mean like cardio, sprinting, HIIT, boxing, strength training. Overall, what modality and what exercises do you feel the most effective?
I guess it depends on the size of the dump truck.
The size of the dump truck.
How big do you want this? Okay. Like, do we want Kim Kardashian? Or do we want just nice,
right.
functional butt?
Okay. Let's start big dump truck. Okay?
All
Somebody
right.
wants a big
dump truck.
Dump
I
truck.
want you hip thrusting.
Hip thrusting.
I want you working on your hamstrings so that you're
Okay.
protecting your back. I want you working on your glutes.
Okay.
So invariably, we'll probably start off with the band, the ones
Okay.
that you used to always torture me with.
Yeah.
Booty bands, they're great to activate the muscle.
Okay,
If you're
so booty
looking,
bands. So we don't want to jump straight into.
Correct,
You know,
yeah.
we hear this all the time, like, oh, I need to squat this much weight for. No. Let's start with just the bands.
Yeah, start
Okay.
with the bands. Disclaimer though, bands are not going to get you the giant butt. Weight is, right?
Right.
Weight is, but
bands
you need
get
to.
your butt ready for it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we
All
need
right.
to get your muscles activated. So we'll start with the band. We'll start with some dynamic things. I really love putting in lateral movements and forward and back too. I mean, we do a lot of forward and back in life, but doing just like side hops too.
Okay.
Doing things that will just get the body warm
Okay.
and ready,
Uh-huh.
and then we'll go hit some weights.
Hit some
depending
heavy
on-
weights.
Yeah,
Wow, I really like that. Next we got deadlift to squat.
that's right.
So
We were exercising. Forgot about that.
So it's activating those glutes
Yep.
with band work, maybe some dynamic movement, a little bit of hops, things like that, so that you could progressively get into that heavy weight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So that would be for like large muscles. So essentially, if you want the really big butt, what you need to do is grow the muscle. So when you grow the muscle,
I'm good at passes.
what you're doing is you're pulling the muscle fibers apart, right? So we're really stressing out that muscle to a point that it's not used to.
Okay.
So you have to see what your level is at. If you're used to lifting some weight, you might have to go a lot heavier than you're used to. But yeah, if you're looking for just more of a sculpted butt, I would probably lean more towards some Pilates moves. Yeah.
Okay, so bigger butts, we're talking activation,
Yeah.
dynamic movement, and then once your body is warm, and also too, you talk about strengthening the hamstrings.
Yeah.
And then once the body is warm, and then please, if you're gonna lift heavy weights, I beg anyone, if you haven't done it or don't know your proper body mechanics, get a trainer, even if it's for a week or two,
Oh my
just to
goodness,
learn
yeah.
proper body mechanics.
Yeah.
Because when you're loading heavy, that's the most risk for injury.
The amount of times that I've had clients within their first week do something very simple as small as like a body weight lunge with some cues and adjustments, you're like, holy shit, every class I've done, I've been doing that wrong.
Wow.
And I want to emphasize it's not that you've been doing it wrong. You just, I mean, maybe incorrect form, yes, but you haven't been dialed into the right muscles. So your dominant muscles are taking over.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's a big part where it's pick up a little bit.
Oh.
So it's, you could be doing an exercise and you think that you're targeting glutes or you're targeting your butt, and because you haven't learned the proper body mechanics,
Yes.
then you could be like completely hitting your quadriceps.
Yes.
Right.
And a common thing is if your core is really weak, you're going to be taking a lot of the weight into your back. So if you hip thrust and you're doing a lot of the work with your back,
Right.
there's no butt growing. There's no butt growing.
Just to hurt back.
Just to hurt back.
Just to
And
hurt
then
back.
that sucks because then you have to take time off and you can't progress in your program.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's go to arms.
Okay.
Arms. What are some of the things that you suggest?
My clients will love me
Look-
for this, but it's always a push-up.
Always a push-up.
I love push-ups.
Okay.
You can do them anywhere.
Yep.
You travel and you tell me that you can't work out, that's a lie.
That's a lie.
You can always do push-ups. There's a bunch of modifications for them.
Okay.
They're really, really effective. Obviously, they're in a lot of vinyasa flow in yoga. You're doing chaturangas, which is a halfway push-up. And I feel like they really, if you're doing them correctly, they really force the stabilizers in the shoulders to get strong. Bicep curls, obviously. Tricep, I love cable tricep extensions.
Okay.
I feel like those really are a lot more fluid and less room for error and less tendency of the traps taking over.
Right.
Because you can kind of really dial in. Whereas if you're doing them just freehand, it's very easy to
Yes,
shrug.
you start using, which goes back to those compensations we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Where you think you're working your triceps,
Yes.
but you're just getting bigger traps. I don't know why my alarms aren't leaning out.
I don't know many women that are so super stoked to get big traps.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll go back kettle swings. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So yeah, push-ups really. We always say this, like, you don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? Like,
Yes.
stop looking for. You know how many times I get these Instagram inbox messages from clients? I love you guys to death, and they're like, what about this exercise? And it's like, we send these to each other all the time,
yeah.
right? Where it's like this person like hopping on one leg, doing a hip thrust
With a chair.
With a chair.
On their head.
And they're like,
Yeah.
look at that. She has a big butt. I'm like, oh dear God. No, trust me, it's not that
Not
move.
from doing that.
It's not from doing that. You know, so when we're talking about, leaning out your arms, something as simple as push-ups and being aware of your caloric intake will help to lean out your arms enough without having to do any extravagant, elaborate exercises.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that a lot of us are used to doing push exercises, so complement that with something that involves pulling. But yeah.
So, you know what that made me think of is those bands. They have them on Amazon. Those armbands. You could tie those right into the doorway.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Where you're traveling. So, Amazon has armbands that, or any exercise shop should have them. And good. Where you have the handles on them.
Yes.
You can anchor them in the doorway.
Yeah.
And match your push-ups with some pull exercises.
Yes.
So you're not getting your shoulders rounded.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and that's a great one that you can travel with as well.
Right.
They fit them in the suitcase, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little kettle passes. And of course, the abs.
The abs.
Yeah.
I remember you used to torture me with Bosu ball sit-ups.
Oh yeah.
I do love those. Those are a great way, especially if you're just starting out and trying to find your core. That's one thing I hear a lot from women is like, especially if they've had babies, or if they've had issues, maybe they had a C-section or something along those lines, and those muscles are a little damaged. I love the Bosu. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives you a little instability, and it forces you to kind of stabilize yourself with just your core.
Right, before you even do any kind of motion, just being on that Bosu ball, having to stabilize yourself through the core.
Yeah, and I'll demo too, and I'll say, look, my range of motion is probably 30 degrees, but you can see my core shake.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, from something so small.
Yeah, really small, very controlled.
And also too, I think it's always important to emphasize that these exercise or workout programs are only as good as your food around it, right? So if you're doing push-ups, following up with the pull, doing the activation with the band and getting the bows, all these things do not mean as much as we think they do unless we're paying attention to what we're eating.
Oh yeah, yeah, and switching the mindset that your food is fuel.
Right.
Of course you want to enjoy it as well, but your food is fuel, and how can you best serve your body with what you put in it, so that we work so hard in the gym.
Yeah.
You sweat, you get uncomfortable, doing all these things that are really challenging. So why detriment any of that?
Give me, and I'm going to put you on the spot here, but I have...
I have the under fire, I swear.
He's like, wait. No, shut it. Put the camera. What is it that you wanted me to do? I see sometimes you post your meals on Instagram that you make for yourself.
Kinda.
Right?
Yeah.
Once in a while.
Yeah.
Where are we going? It depends on what you're asking me.
Sort of. Which Instagram account? No, I'm just kidding. I only have one.
We're going to the cool down now.
Yeah.
So reach out. Okay, so I see you put that up there. On a lifting day, could you give me a cool recipe you do? It doesn't have to be like as regimented or scientific, like, post-workout or pre-workout, but just to give you fuel, right?
Okay,
What's a good meal?
Well, the reason why I said kinda is because I have also very, repeatedly said I wouldn't want someone to follow a day in the life of my food for many reasons.
Okay.
My metabolism is different to yours.
Right.
My workout goals are different to yours.
Mm-hmm.
My food likes and dislikes are different to yours. My allergies, all that stuff counts.
Which is important for people to know when they're looking at the person next to them.
Yeah, absolutely. So all that being said, a morning I would typically say...
Like your favorite one. I want to know your best one.
My food was on point.
Okay.
And then I'm feeling good and strong is I've worked out. I'll have a smoothie afterwards because I can't really have a heavy meal after.
Uh-huh.
So usually empty stomach, maybe some coffee or something really small, like some apple with peanut butter, just to give me something to get going. And then after that, smoothie with protein. I'll throw in some blueberries, something that is low sugar and low on the glycemic index. And then a couple hours later, I'll probably have a salad with some protein. So I love salad. Everyone gives me a hard time for it, but I love salad. It just feels good. Gives you your dose of veggies. So regular salad.
What's something you put on your salad that is not a typical salad?
Chickpeas.
Chickpeas.
Yeah, someone just asked me this the other day. What is like a non-meat protein? I love a couple boiled eggs.
Okay.
Put that in my salad. I'll do raspberries sometimes. Almonds.
Raspberries, chickpeas, almonds. Okay.
Yeah. This is going to sound like the kitchen sink in a second. I don't always put everything in one salad. But if I'm going to think about what I'm putting in my salad, because I did just talk about this on my story the other day, is I would put a protein, a fat, and maybe something that I find interesting.
I like that. A protein, a fat, and something interesting.
Yeah, because if salad is not going to be like a BLT sandwich, delicious. It's a salad. Yeah. But if I have something fun in there, it's cool. And then evening, if I have had time to meal prep, I would probably have done some ground
squat
turkey.
Pivot.
Oh, I'm like trying to pick up the kettlebell again. Let's go round
let's
10.
Go. I got this.
I had my fuel already. I'll do like ground turkey, some broccoli or snap peas, carrots, and brown rice. I'm really simple, and I am actually very satisfied with something like that.
But you knocked on one that I actually do a lot. Is with my salads, I'll throw some warm brown rice on the top.
Oh yeah.
Because sometimes you don't want cold food.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's adding some warm brown rice or wild rice in with the salad just gives it, make it a little more filling.
Yeah. You can do quinoa as well.
Yeah.
What's another one? You could fry up some tempeh if you don't want to do meat, and that's like something warm.
Right.
So yeah, there's options out there.
I like, and what we always talk about is making sure that people are just using their bodies as experiment labs, right?
Yes.
So it's like, you just talked about different salads and apples and peanut butter. If you mix in with the different exercises, whether it's squats or lunges or band work, right? Or tricep extensions with the band. All this are just different recommendations for women, since we're talking about women and strength training today, for you to try out. And always remember to start off slowly, because you want to be able to backtrack and say, this didn't work for me and this did work for me. But if you throw everything at yourself in week 1 and your energy's low or you get injured or something happens, you won't know what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I always say it's kind of like choose your own adventure. Instead of looking at it as this like very difficult thing with all these factors, just play.
Just play with it. Play with it, and then listen to your body as it responds.
Yeah, and then the other thing is that the best plan is one that you're actually going to be able to commit to for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So, like, don't be unrealistic.
Yeah.
Just do what you can, and then build on that. So.
Yeah. So at least you can enjoy it, and then time can go by where it's not excruciating as the time goes by.
Yeah, and then as you see that time go by, it starts to be a part of your lifestyle. And without even thinking about it, you will reach for the healthier option because you just don't want to feel the other way.
Yes, very true.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
I didn't die.
No, you look strong. You look real strong.
Yeah, because I lift.